A warm welcome to all. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on Innovation and Technology Program. On this special occasion, I would like to call Ms. Ansi of 2nd MCOM to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning to all. It's pleasure to start this auspicious occasion by heartily welcome to all. I would like to invite our dynamic principal, Dr. B. Subramani, and I will heartily invited our special guest, Mr. Nandagopal Shanmugam, on this occasion. I would love to invite our HOD, Mrs. Y. Prasanna, and my beloved faculty members of the department who arranged this program. It is wonderful to see such amazing gathering once in a happy day. Today we all have gathered here for the webinar session. I will I welcome everybody with all my pleasant greetings. I hope this webinar provides knowledge and new ideas about innovation and technology. Once again, I welcome you all for this webinar.
Thank you, Ansi. Allow me now 2nd MCOM to introduce the guest of the day.
I am overjoyed to take the opportunity to introduce our chief guest of the day. He is none other than Mr. Nandagopal Shanmugam, Business Analysis and a Senior Programmer TCS in Scotland. He has completed BA Electronics and Communication. He has having 10 years experience in IT field. He has achieved creator framework methods e-campus developed for UKH University expected to address the automation of university management. Having 6 plus years of experience in analysis, design and developed web application and web service in Microsoft Visual Studio.
Thank you, Gomati. It's my pleasure to invite our guest, Mr. Nandagopal Shanmugam, to share his knowledge and wisdom. This session is hand over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for a wonderful invitation. Hello all, good morning. Hope everyone is doing good. So I think people give me a good introduction. Thanks for that. And I don't want to introduce myself. So we'll get started quickly. I will give you the quick presentation. Yeah. Let me know you guys able to see my screen. Okay, hope everyone able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So today we are going to talk about the innovation and technology. Okay. So the small innovation ideas is turned into the big changeover in the industry. Okay. So every industry have some modern technology running by the modern technology. Um, the small innovation ideas turn into the big technology. For every industries, we have innovations, and you can see a lot of industries like the automobile and mobile industries, the IT industry, even the mechanical industries. Every industries have the innovation ideas. The small innovation ideas implementing as the technology or the framework or whatever. Okay. So let's take an example. So if you are using a smartphone, before 2013, how the mobile was. Okay, we don't have a WhatsApp, we don't have a Facebook, uh, we don't have this kind of a social media networks, and even how the mobile technology is booming from 2000 to 2021. So this last 10 years, it's changed a lot. So it's all become a small innovations ideas. If you take an example, so how we are unlocking a phone. Before we will be putting some code to unlock your phone and make a call and everything. Now it's changed to the fingerprints and you can unlock your phone with just showing your face on the mobile phone. Okay, so the innovations is nothing but it will reduce the manpower and time, the way of working. In every day, you will spend a lot of time to do small things, and in every day you will be doing some hard works. So think it in a different way and think it in a smarter way to reduce your efforts and make life simpler. So that's what's the innovation. And these small innovations is giving the more advantages. Okay, even in the automobile industry, if you see, we had a manual gear mechanism. Now it's changed to automatic. Even in taking the reverse, you can have indications, cameras, and everywhere. Okay, so take the small things and think it in a different way and implement your idea. So that's way you can improve or innovative ideas. So in current industries, people are expecting this kind of innovations from the people who is working in the industries. Okay. Um, so so as I'm working in the IT industry, I'm going to today talk about how this innovations and how the technology is booming from the last 10 to 15 years. Okay. So I think most of the people, you guys using the websites. So you guys know how the website is working. So today we are going to talk about the web services concept in the IT industries. So how it plays a major role in the IT industries. So in the next slide, I will show you what is a web services and how it's changed over of the period. So how the innovations and technology changed over this period. Okay. So uh, in IT industries, a lot of things are changing day by day and over the years. For example, previously we have a website. For testing the website, we have a number of peoples. Everyone will log in into the websites and do some operations and make some tests whether it's working or not. So it will take a lot of time for them and manpower and efforts. So nowadays, it's fully automated. We have developed a framework or exe file. You can just click the file in your laptop or machine. So it will automatically log in into your website and do all the stuffs which manpower does. So it hardly takes 1 hour to complete all this process. So you can see how this innovation, how this technology is booming. Okay. So it's all triggered by this small innovation idea. Why do we are doing such a things in a every day and spending a lot of times and a lot of manpower? Okay. So anyone having idea about what is a web services? Okay. So in the modern web development, you have a website. Okay. So this website, the user interface, when you are doing the Facebook or Instagram or whatever, it will touch base the business layers and data layers and database. So it is totally tightly coupled. In a previous, I'm saying like before 10 to 15 years, it's like a tightly coupled. So you have a user interface. In this user interface, if you enter your user details or you are searching for any other details, it's directly hits a database. So it will retrieve the results from the database and displaying in the user interface. Okay, so these informations are stored in the database. Okay, it's tightly coupled from this direct website, but it can't be used any other places. For example, if you are using a Redbus, a website, and if you are using from a website and if you are not able to use it from a mobile phone or tab, it's hard, right? So you cannot use it everywhere. The information is stored in the one place and can't be shared. So that's a place where the website comes a major role. So the web services concepts is innovated in long back, so it's like 20 years before. So it's a totally tightly coupled. Okay, so this is where the web service comes into place. So we have a middle-tier layer. Okay, so between the user interface and the databases. So it serves the data when we are calling from the mobile app or from the tab or website. Okay, so it will receive the user information and redirect to the databases and retrieve the results and serve the purpose. So that's what how the web services works. I don't want to go deeper on the web services concept. We can see it in a high level because it's a very old concept. Okay. Okay, so let's take an example how the Red buses or any other websites is working. Okay, in IT industries, major of the websites, major of the applications, it's not working without the web services. Okay, so we are working for a client, Lloyds Banking Group, and we are majorly use the web services concept because if you see the bank is not in the one places, it's on the different places. For example, you can say the banking sits in the client sits in the UK, but the Lloyds Banking working in the United States, in Australia, and everywhere. So from there, they need to access the data and they want to see the data and they need to create the accounts and everything. So all the bank operation, they do it in a website, mobile phone or tab. So everywhere they need to access the data. So that's what the web services concept is. And for an example, you can take the Redbus. So how many of you know like Red buses don't have a own buses actually? Okay, they simply running the websites and earning tons and tons. Okay, so what Red buses do is if you see different operators like KPN, SRS Travels, and different travelers have their web services. They have their data in the databases. They have their web services. Okay, so what Redbus is do is when you go to the Redbus app or website, if you are searching from places and to places and a specific date, it will redirect to the all the APIs. For example, it will call all the services, KPN services and SRS services and every services. So if the service is returning the result from their database, the availability, then it will show in a Redbus app. So think how these many services are working in a single call. Okay, so that's what web services playing the major role in the websites. Okay, how it works. If you are calling from a website, if you are calling from a mobile phone, if you are calling from a tab, it will hit to a common web services. This common web services will call the different APIs. So from there, they will collect the data and display the availability in the Redbus website. Okay. Okay. So this is the web service concept. So now we are going to see how this web services slowly turn into the microservices and how this technology is grown this last 10 years. Okay. So web services concepts innovated on the 2004. So the George Ford is innovated the prototype, like how it works. If you see, the web services are totally tightly coupled. Okay, if this database goes down or web services goes down, you cannot see any results, or you cannot. I mean, the website is totally goes down. Okay, so think the Redbus is working in a tightly coupled way. If it is a database is crashed or any problem, for example, you can say the hacker hacked the databases. So what will happen? The entire website will be collapsed and nothing will work. Okay. So even if the web service connectivity, for example, the website to web service connectivity is broken, so nothing will work out, right? So entire site will collapse. nothing will work it out. So this is the one of the pain from the previous web services. Okay, and also if you are making some changes, for example, if you are adding a new API or new travelers, okay, so that time you need to down this entire web services for deploying your changes in the production servers. Okay, so if you are making any changes to the databases, so again we need to bring down all the databases down, and you need to put your changes. So these are all the hard way how the web services works. Okay, it serves the purpose, but it having a lot of pain areas. Like it's totally tightly coupled. So if you are making any changes, you need to collapse entire the website and you need to make some changes. Okay, to overcome these pain areas, so they slowly innovating the services and make the major point is they are making the loosely coupled. Okay, for example, this single web services doing all this stuff. For example, it's doing the user information management. It's taking care of all user managements for storing your data, like your name, date of birth, your login details and everything, and it's handle the uh, like availability business logics, and it's calling the another API as well and fetching the result and making some changes because it will be a raw data. You cannot display the raw data directly to the website. So we need to apply some business logics and we need to apply some styles and we need to apply everything before you displaying a data in the user interface. So this all stuff is taken care by these web services, and it's taking a lot and lot of load actually. So see how many users are using the red buses. Okay, it's not about the 100 or 1,000 people. So it will be used by a lakh and lakh people. So it's also taking care of load balancing. So everything handled by the single web services is not an easy way. So they innovated the microservices. So I will explain you in detail like what is a microservice, how it works. Okay. So here microservices, their major point here is they are applying some patterns, principles to make the services to loosely coupled. Okay, so it's like breaking the services into the multiple level. Okay, for example, you can take the Amazon website. So if you are going to the Amazon website and you are searching for a product and seeing the user commands and user review and who is going to take care of your order and when it will be delivered, everything. Okay, so it's all cannot be taken from the single services. Okay, so they are breaking the services into the different category and different levels. For example, one service is going to take care of the uh, sorry, yeah. So one service is going to take care of all this product information, and one service is going to take care of your user information. Okay, so one service is going to take care of your placing the order details, and one service is going to taking care of the user reviews and all the other user informations. So they are splitting the services in the different level so that if the user review or order services is not working, still you can see the product details. Okay, it's not a tightly coupled, it's loosely coupled. So they made like number of services working for a one singular user interface pages. So one services goes down, the other services will work so that the entire service won't be go down. So in sometimes if you are making the payment or if you are making the Amazon orders, you could see like sometimes you can search the product, it will show available or everything, and if you are going to the payment, sometimes the payment won't work. So the payment is taken care of by the payment services. So it seems like the payment service is not working at the moment. So if you go back and take some time, and if you are placing an order, it will work actually. So that's what how it works. So the entire service websites can't be go down, and they are making some changes on the ongoing process. Okay. So this is what how the microservices concept, the innovations and ideas started for the services to be loosely coupled and work independently and improve the performances and improve the scalability. Okay, so this each microservice lives independently, and in some cases they dependent one on each other. In some cases it's totally independent and it can be worked independently. Okay, so so previously we saw the microservice concepts, right? So when you are making some changes, okay, so you need to bring down the entire website. You can see a lot of government websites, like railway booking websites and a lot of government websites, they're still using the legacy system. Okay, so for making some changes, for example, A to B, they need to put the entire website down. In some websites, you can see like the site under maintenance, it will be up soon. So this is what happening when we are using the legacy web services and legacy web development. So in the web services, it can be easily deployed in the cloud environment. So in the legacy web services, you cannot directly easily deploy to the cloud environment. Okay, because this is legacy system not support the latest components and latest frameworks. So you need to tweaking the process and you need to change the process how it works. So it's also a lot of pain, like converting your legacy websites to the microservices. Okay, so in the microservices concept in real world, like we are developing the framework and we are developing the services for the Lloyds Bank. So what we are doing is we are simply writing our code and we are we are putting in the source code repository. So the code will automatically build and it can be auto tested and it will be automatically deployed into the cloud environment. So this whole process might take around 30 minutes or 1 hour for it to make some changes and deploying. So we are not bringing the entire website down, but the particular functionality won't work for the some time. Let's say the downtime could be a 30 minutes or 1 hour. So still the website can be continuously working and services also working as a independently. Okay. So each microservices will behave and have their functionality to work, and they have their own databases to work with. Okay. So any doubts till now? You guys able to catch up the microservice concepts, right? Slowly. So I will give you the brief way of working in the next slides. So if you guys have any doubts, please shout out. Okay.
No doubt, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so here is a simple example how the legacy websites working and how the microservices based website is working. Okay, the same way how I explained the Amazon websites is working in the current world. Okay, so if you see the legacy website, they have their user interface, they are doing some business logics and the functionalities and the data access layer. In the legacy system, this business logic and functionality and database layer, everything sits in the web services. So in the microservice world, so simply you will have the user interface. This user interface will be called the common microservice API gateway. I will explain you about the API gateway in the next slide. So the user will enter the details in the user interface, I mean the website. So it will directly go to the API gateway. This API, what's the main purpose of an API gateway is it's redirect to the correct services. For example, if you are logging in and checking for your account detail, it will directly redirect to the account services. And if you are using the Amazon site and you are looking for some product information, it's like how this product is, how much price and what's quality, and if you are reviewing the product, so it will directly redirect to the product services. So once you select the product and making an order, so it will redirect to a order services. So the product services works is completed and it leaves a purpose, and order services comes and plays its role. So this is what how the microservices works in legacy system and older web services. So the account and product and order, everything sits in the same services. Okay. So microservices is a simple concept. We are making a loosely coupled and making the performance and scalability. So, so what is the scalability here? Okay, so in a legacy system, the website is taking the load from 1,000 users and 10,000 users, and what happened? It goes to the lakh and lakh users. Okay, so the entire site will be slowed down. It won't work properly. Okay, so in the microservice world, it will automatically implement the load balancing concept. That's what we have a API gateway, and we have a service discovery, and everything in place in the microservices architecture. It will automatically scalable based on the load which we are giving to the website. Okay, so so this is a microservice architecture. So if you guys going to work on any industry or IT industry, or for example in a bank, or any web related industry, the microservices nowadays playing the major role. Okay, if your resume having knowledge about the microservices or any advanced concepts like Google Cloud or Docker or everything, the industry will pick you up automatically. Okay, even our industry, the TCS paying the double the hike to the digital technology known persons. For example, if you know the microservices and you are attending the interview to your TCS or CTS or whatever, okay, they will give you their preference, because all legacy systems and legacy websites are slowly moving to the cloud platform, and they are started using the microservices concept. Okay, so in the latter world, in the current world and later world, it's fully driven by the microservices. No one going to use the legacy websites or any other services. Okay, so this microservices uh, playing a major role in all the technologies. For example, if you are going to learn the .NET, there we have a microservice architecture and microservices pattern. And if you are going to learn about the Java, there also we have a microservices concept. So in IT industry, this microservice playing a major role. If you know the basic concepts about the microservices and architecture and how it works, it will be added more advantage to your profile and yourself. Okay, so this is a microservice architecture. So this client is nothing but the user. So user trying to hit the trigger some operations from the websites. So this request is directly goes to the API gateway. Okay, so between the client and the API gateway, we have identity provider. So this what this identity provider will do is it will take the client information. For example, it takes your credentials, your username and password. It will validate whether you are the right person, whether you have authentication to access these services. Okay, so the authentication will happen before you are reaching to the API gateway. Okay, so it will for example, think about the Amazon website, how it works. Okay, so you can search the product and do whatever, but nowadays all the websites, all the sites are forcing to have an account. Okay, so without a user account or user information, they are not able to trace you, like who is accessing the website and who is trying to access our data, because it's directly indirectly accessing your data. For example, you are accessing the Amazon website's database indirectly. You are going to see about their product and review and whatever the information. Okay, so they have authentication in place and it will take care by the identity provider. Okay, so after identity provider, it tells to the API gateway that this user is a valid one and they have a permission to access the uh, databases and data whatever. Okay, so this API gateway will have you all services endpoints. Endpoints is nothing but address. So so you have a number of services. For example, service 1, service 2, service 3, service 4, and the in API gateway we will be having a key and name. Okay, for example, I have a home and I have an address, right? So I have a door number. So the same concept how the API gateway work. So it will have your service address details. So for example, it will have like serial number 1, service 1, serial number 2, service 2. So the serial number will be a unique key. Okay, when you hitting the API gateway, it will check what information you are trying to access. Okay, for example, you are going to see the product information, it will redirect to the product services. Okay, it will have a address and key. It will so it will redirect to the correct address. So the service can be accessed. So this entire services sits in the microservices block. Okay, so the API gateway get your informations like what information you are going to try to access. For example, are you going to see the product information, or you are going to see your order history, or you are going to see some other informations. For example, the similar products, whatever. Okay, so it will direct to the correct address and correct services. So the API gateway taking care of that purpose. And in the below, you can see the CDN. It's just nothing but content delivery network. For example, you will have the website pages, right? In Amazon pages, it's simple pages, the product information pages. So you're going to call the services and fill this product information to the web page and displaying to the client. So this purpose is taken care by CDN, content delivery network. Okay, this all web pages and static content will be in the static content block. Okay, and again you can see the service discovery and management. So this service discovery will have all the history of the services. For example, today I am deploying one changes in the server. Let's take a version 1, and after a week I am making some changes and deploying to the server. So that will take as a version 2. So the service discovery will have a address detail of the services and also the version details and what are the changes you are making. So all the service tracking information will be in the service discovery. Okay, so when you are hitting the API gateway, it's direct to the correct services, and in the meantime, the services and the entire information will be in the service discovery. Okay, and if you see, we uh, spoke about the scalable. So if you see the API gateway, it will automatically scalable the user information, I mean load balancing. Okay, so in the legacy system, you need to apply the load balancing in a separate manner. For example, there is a network team. Okay, they will come, they will make all the changes for the load balancing in the legacy system. That will take more time. For example, if your load balances goes down, then the entire website will collapse and nothing will work. Okay, so that entire network team will sit and work for the load balancing in the legacy system. But in the microservice, it will take care by automatically. The scalable is high in the microservice architecture. Okay, this is the basic microservice architecture. So if you break the things, you can see the lot of things as, but in the high level, this is a microservice and how it works and how it serves a purpose. Okay. And yeah, so if you can see how the microservices working in the current websites. Okay, so in monolithic architecture, we can see like the legacy system. You can say it is a monolithic architecture and microservice architecture. So in monolithic architecture, the database is the same and the service is the same. Okay, so if you are storing the information to the one database, okay, you are loading tons and tons of information to the databases, and it will grow up and its size will be huge. You cannot handle it. So, for example, you need to take the backup of databases and store it in somewhere. You need a huge place, and you cannot easily take the backup of a databases. It will take a lot of time. For example, even in one of our legacy system, okay, where we are having the user information, the database is grows and grows, and now it's having the 2 TB data in the databases. So we are not able to touch the databases. For example, if you are searching for the small user information, it will take a lot of time to hit the fetch the data from the databases. So in a microservice architecture, each service have their own databases. Let's say the account services have the separate databases. It shows all the account related information, and product services, they have separate databases called product databases. So it will have all product related information. Okay, let's see the order services. It have a order information and it have a separate databases. So um, the service 1 and service 2 and service 3 is interlinked. So if you are making some changes to the account services, for example, this service 1, okay, only these services will goes down. So others will, the service 2 and service 3 will work. And if you are making some changes to the service 2, only the service 2 will go down for a minute and it will be automatically. Okay, so if you are trying to use it from a mobile application or desktop or other services, it will directly go to the your microservice architecture. So we saw the microservice architecture, right? So you are hitting from the mobile application or website or wherever, okay, directly go to the API gateway. This API gateway will direct to the correct services. So it will, the load balancing will apply automatically and scalable and performance is high. There is a no interruption and the entire service architecture is loosely coupled. Okay, so let quickly give you a background about how we are daily working. Okay, so when I'm joined the IT industry, the 10 years back, when we are making changes, so to the web services, okay, for example, a client will ask change this name to other name. Okay, we will make some code changes and checking the codes to the code repository. Okay, so we need to take this entire code and build this code to a deploying package files. Then we need to have the server team, okay, and we need to have the database team, and we need a different like 4 to 5 teams to make our deployments. So we need to supply our deployment files to the server team. So they will take a backup of a whole files and deploy these new files. And database team will take the entire database backup for safety purpose, and they will apply these database changes to the databases. and we will have the IAS configuration, all the stuffs, and make to site run, and we will be having a testing team in place. Once the changes is deployed to the server, they will sit and test whether the new functionality or new changes are working fine, and also the existing functionality working fine. So this is what how we worked the before 10 years, and now the microservice is in place, and we are moving to the cloud technology. Okay, so we are simply making the changes and checking the code. So the code build will be taking care of automatically. Okay, in Git repository, I mean that's a different concept how Git works and all the stuffs. But in high level, this code will be built automatically in the code repository itself, and it will build your entire code as an image. Okay, and this image will be deployed to the server automatically once the build completes. So see, so before 10 years, it takes uh, per day or 2 days to complete the deployment. But in the current world, to implementing our innovations and transformation ideas, okay, it's hardly taking 1 hour to complete the deployment and making some changes. Okay, so see how it is transformated from the journey day one to from now. Okay, so slowly day to day you will be in working area in your life. uh, Day to day you will be doing some hard works and doing things in a general way and make spend more time and efforts. Okay, think in a different way to implement your innovate ideas. Just think, oh, why it's working this way and why can't we work this way. Okay, so before few years back, you are going to a bank, okay, and you need to sit in the queue, and you need to, for opening account, you need to be in queue, and you need to fill the like 4 to 5 pages of a form, and you need to provide your documents and everything. So hardly it take a day, right, for opening account. But now, in a website, if you go to the ICICI website or HDFC website or whatever, okay, you just go to the website, enter your name, first name and last name, and email ID and phone number. That's all. They will give you the call or give all details in the email. You can open your account from where you are. Okay, so that's what how the transformation journey is happening in the industry. Okay, so this is the overall architecture, like how the microservice architecture will be look like in the server. Okay, so we will be having API gateway. So we will be having order services. It will have its own database, and you will have the product services. It will have product databases, and you can see the number of services, blah blah blah, like user review services, and order history services, and account services, and payment gateway. Every services will have their own database and work independently. Okay, so this is entirely loosely coupled, have their own functionality, own space to work, and work independently. So that's what microservices works. So the legacy web services to microservices in the last 10 years is very booming technology. So when you have some time, go to the internet and learn a bit more about the microservices. Like there will be a lot of concepts, bits and pieces. So start learning about the microservice. It will be very helpful for you and your profile. Okay. So I think I'm almost done. Guys, have any questions and any doubts?
Students, have you any doubt? Ask him. Oh, no doubt, huh?
No doubt, ma'am.
No doubt, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Kash. Thanks for your time.
Sir, just a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
Now I request Mr. Akil, our second MCOM CA, to deliver the vote of thanks.
It's my topmost pleasure to deliver a vote of thanks. I must mention a deep and sincere thanks to our management for the support to conduct this program in a successful manner. I may like to express a sincere thanks to our Honorable Mr. Dr. B. Subramanian for their guidance and support. Further, we are grateful to Mr. Nandagopal Sharma for sharing his knowledge and experience with us. I'm also very glad to my HOD, pharmacy CA, and the faculty members who are working for the art of my youth. I thank all my lovable friends. Once again, I thank everyone.
Thank you all for your presentation and cooperation.
Thank you, sir. Students, feedback link in chat box. Please fill the feedback form. Thank you, sir. Thank you, students.
Thank you.
Students, please fill the feedback form.
Ma'am,
రెండండి కాడ లీవ్ వర్క్ తెరలింక్